every enterprise is talking about AI right now. And when the subject comes up, the conversation almost always starts in the same place. Data. Do we have the right data? Is it clean? Is it structured? Is it governed? Can we trust it? Those questions matter a lot. But there's another part of the AI conversation that is too often missing. Integrations. Because an AI assistant, copilot, or agent is only useful when it can securely reach information it needs, understand the surrounding business context, and, where appropriate, take action in the system where work actually happens. If AI can summarize the document but cannot retrieve the right status, create an approved case, trigger a workflow, or safely call an API, it remains an impressive demonstration rather than a business capability. So the question should not only be, is our data ready for AI? It should also be, is our enterprise ready to connect AI to data and business processes in a safe, repeatable, governed way? That is why a modern integration platform, an iPaaS, is not just infrastructure. In the AI era, it becomes part of the foundation for enterprise intelligence. Let's be clear. Clean, accessible, well-owned data is essential. No integration platform can magically fix data that is incorrect, ambiguous, duplicated, or poorly classified. But clean data alone does not create business value. Think about what happens after an AI model produces an answer. A sales user may need custom history from a CRM. A supply chain team may need inventory from the ERP. A quality team may need controlled documentation. A service representative may need to create a case, notify a specialist, or start an approval workflow. The information and the actions are spread across many systems. Without a strong integration layer, each new AI initiative risks becoming a one-off project. Each team creates its own connections, security patterns differ. Error handling differs. Documentation is incomplete, monitoring is inconsistent, and the organization slowly builds a new form of technical debt, this time at AI speed. So there are two enterprise foundations for AI. The first is trusted data. The second is trusted connectivity, a way to expose data and business capabilities consistently, securely, and with the right governance. If data is the fuel for AI, integrations is the road network that makes the fuel useful. An iPaaS, integration platform as a service, is the layer that connects your enterprise landscape. It connects APIs, messages, files, data stores, SaaS platforms, legacy applications, and business events. More importantly, a mature iPaaS gives those connections common patterns for identity, security, monitoring, logging, lifecycle management, and operational support. That changes the AI conversation. Rather than letting every AI use case reach directly into every system, you can design reusable, controlled pathways instead of creating point-to-point integrations. Every time someone has a new idea, you can provide an approved template and shared services. This is important because AI will increase the demand for integrations dramatically. AI can help people identify what they want to automate. It can help developers write code, mappings, and test it. It can help create documentation. That means more ideas will reach implementation faster. But faster implementations without platform governance creates chaos faster too. A modern iPaaS lets the enterprise say, yes, we want speed, and we want every new connection to inherit the standards that keeps the platform secure, observable, and maintainable. That is what enables innovations at scale. There is an important distinction here. AI needs access to information, but that does not mean AI should receive broad, unmanaged access to enterprise systems. In fact, the more powerful AI becomes, the more important it is to define the boundaries. What information is this use case allowed to read? What action is it allowed to request? Which API is the approved route? How is identity established? What data classification applies? How do we audit what happened? How do we detect an integration that has stopped working or behaving unexpectedly? These are not details to bolt on at the end. They are design decisions to determine whether an AI initiative can become production grade. This is where the iPaaS becomes an enabler, not a gatekeeper. A good platform makes a secure option the easy option. It gives developers and product teams pre-built paths instead of forcing them to negotiate the same technical and governance decisions from scratch. The result is not less freedom. It is self-service care. Teams can move quickly within patterns that were designed, approved, and supported, and AI-assisted development can accelerate delivery without bypassing the controls that matter in the enterprise. The mental model is like a vending machine. In a traditional integration landscape, asking for a new integration can feel like a commissioning a custom building. A team must decide on infrastructure, identities, network routes, APIs, messaging, and deployment pipelines. Often before it can deliver the actual business capability. That is slow, it is expensive, and every new project can make slightly different choices. A vending machine approach is different. A team chooses a proven integration template, perhaps an asynchronous messaging, API exposure, file transfer, or another approved pattern. The platform then provisions the required building blocks for the established configurations. The team still owns the business logic. They still design the data mapping and the process behavior, but they no longer have to rebuild the plumbing and wiring. This is not about turning integrations into a black box. It is about packaging the repeatable decisions that should not be reinvented. Templates create consistency. Consistency creates faster delivery, and faster delivery combined with standards is exactly what enterprise needs when AI increases the number of new integration opportunities. At Orifarm, this is the direction we are implementing with our iPaaS. The platform is built around shared services that give every integration a reliable, governed foundation. The shared capabilities include a shared service bus for event-driven communication, API management, often called APIM, for controlled API exposure and enforcement, SFTP for secure file-based integration, and Cosmos DB for shared logging and operational data where templates opt in. The value is not simply that these technologies exist. The value is that they are delivered as a coherent platform. A developer or integration team should be able to start with an approved template and inherit the platform capabilities they need. That means common identity patterns, common deployment patterns, common monitoring, common routes to shared resources, common API governance, and a consistent operational model. Shared services also help avoid a common enterprise problem. Every project creating its own siloed copy of the capability that could be managed and secured once. The platform becomes a product for internal teams. It provides reusability building blocks, clear contracts, and a faster path from a business need to a supported integration. And that is the kind of foundation that lets AI initiative connect into the enterprise responsibly. Let's make that concrete. Imagine a team needs an async integration. They choose the approved async template from the platform catalog. The template provisions the integrations using Bicep infrastructure as code. That is important because infrastructure is not created manually and remembered later. It is declared, versioned, repeatable, and reviewable. The newly created integration receives a managed identity, rather than relying on developers to handle credentials in an ad hoc way. The integration can authenticate to a permitted shared resource using the enterprise identity pattern. The template also connects the solution to the shared service it requires. For messaging pattern, it creates the relevant topic on the shared service bus. It creates an additional topic called heartbeat. At this point, the developers can focus on the part that makes their integration different: the business events, the transformation, the validation, and the process logic. They did not have to start with an empty cloud subscription and a long checklist. The infrastructure, identity, connectivity, and operational hooks arrived with a template. That is the vending machine promise. Choose an approved pattern and start a secure, consistent starting point in minutes, not weeks. The heartbeat topic is a small concept with a very large operational benefit. Every integration needs to be observable. It is not enough to know what has been deployed. We need to know whether it is alive, whether it's processing, whether messages are flowing, and whether it's starting to fail. A common heartbeat mechanism, integrations can send a consistent signal into the platform, the iPaaS dashboard, can use that signal to monitor the health of the entire integration landscape. Instead of every team invented its own "are we alive" method, the platform has a shared operational language that helps support teams answer practical questions quickly. Which integrations are healthy? Which have stopped reporting? Which are delayed? Where should we investigate first? For AI use cases, this becomes even more valuable if an AI-powered process depends on a downstream integration. The experience is only as reliable as that integration. A good response from an AI assistant is not enough if the action it triggers disappears into a failing connection. Observability is how we turn integrations from invisible plumbing into managed services. Templates also give integrations the ability to opt into locking responses and payloads to a shared Cosmos DB capability. The important word is opt-in. Not every integration should lock the same information, and not every payload should be retained in the same way. Data sensitivity, retention requirements, privacy, quality requirements, and operational needs must all influence the choice. But by providing a common governed logging capability, the iPaaS can make troubleshooting and support far more efficient. When an integration fails, the team can investigate what was received, what was sent, what response came back, and where the failure occurred, using a consistent operational approach, rather than hunting through different project-specific solutions. It is also valuable for continuous improvement patterns in error, retries, throughput, and response behavior. Can show where the platform or the integration needs attention. For AI-connected processes, Diagnostics are essential. You need to be able to trace the path from an AI request through the integration layer and into the receiving system, while applying the appropriate controls to the data involved. The platform gives that visibility a home. APIs are a particularly important part of an AI-ready enterprise. AI solutions need reliable ways to discover and call business capabilities. An API is often the best contract for that. Clear inputs, clear outputs, documented behavior, and controlled access. In the Orifarm iPaaS, templates can publish an OpenAPI specification. From that specification, API management can create the required endpoints. But the platform does more than expose an endpoint. API management can apply enterprise controls around the endpoint. It can enforce data classification requirements so that the API is handled appropriate for regulations and quality expectations, including GDPR and GxP contexts. This is where the platform governance becomes real. A developer does not need to remember every policy manually for every endpoint. The template and the API platform can make the correct pattern available from the beginning. That reduces risk, but it also reduces friction. Teams are not forced to choose between moving fast and being compliant. They can build quickly on the platform that includes the requirement as part of the route to production. For AI, that is a major advantage. AI can discover approved APIs and operate through defined contracts, rather than relying on uncontrolled system access. Now let's return to the AI developer experience. AI can make integrations developers much more productive. It can help draft transformations, it can suggest mappings, it can generate tests. It can interpret error messages, it can assist with documentation and help teams understand an existing integration landscape. But a language model is not an architecture board. It does not automatically know which internal pattern is approved, which identities are permitted, which endpoint carries regulated data, or how a specific production service should be monitored. That knowledge must be built into the platform. When templates, shared services, policies, and documented contracts are available, AI-assisted developers work from a better starting point. The AI can help create integration-specific logic. iPaaS provides the guardrails around it. This is the combination enterprises should aim for: developer speed plus platform discipline. Instead of allowing AI to generate 100 different ways of doing the same integration, we can give it, and the developers using it, approved patterns to extend. That creates better quality, better consistency, easier support, and faster onboarding for new teams. In other words, the platform does not compete with AI, it makes AI more usable in the real enterprise. So when you hear that an enterprise wants to adopt AI, absolutely ask about the data. Ask whether it's clean, ask whether it's governed, ask whether people trust it. But ask one more question. How will AI securely and reliably connect to the rest of the business? How will it reach the right systems? How will it call approved APIs? How will it trigger workflows? How will the teams monitor the integrations behind it? How will developers move quickly without rebuilding infrastructure and governance every time? A modern iPaaS is one answer to those questions. At Orifarm, the vision is a shared service platform where teams can select approved templates and receive the infrastructure, identity, connectivity, monitoring, governance they need, quickly and consistently. Async templates can create the required service bus topics and heartbeat monitoring. Templates can opt into shared Cosmos DB logging. OpenAPI specifications can create managed API endpoints. And API management can apply data classification control for GDPR and GXP requirements. This is not just plumbing. It is an operational model that lets an enterprise connect AI to real world with the right guardrails in place. Clean data is essential, but in the AI era, governed integration is what turns that data into enterprise capability. How is your organization preparing its integration platform for AI? Well, that was it for this video. Thank you for watching. Stay safe.